This is the one question that you should never, ever, ever ask at a Hawkwatch. Hey everyone, this is David Brown from Lycobirds, and today I'm going to talk about the forbidden question at Hawkwatches. This is the question that I hate answering the most, and it's also one of the most common questions that I get asked. And that question is, how do you know you're not counting the same birds over and over again? Everyone who Hawkwatches with me knows that I hate this question, so every time someone comes up and asks it, you can always see them giggling as I try to very politely answer this question that I've answered 1,000 times. And I don't know why I hate this question so much. I think part of it is because it's hard to answer, especially because most of the people who are asking it may not have a good understanding of what we're actually doing at the Hawkwatch. And so it's not something you can just tell them a simple answer and make them understand. There's something about the tone of the question, not the way that the people ask it, but just the question itself, that there's a bit of being skeptical. And I think that a lot of people look at our totals board, they see that we've seen hundreds of bald eagles, and that's what triggers them to ask the question, because they can't believe that we've seen that many bald eagles from one location. Some Hawkwatchers try to be funny, and when someone comes up and asks, how do you know you're not counting the same birds? With a straight face, they just say, paintball gun. But most of the time, people don't get the joke, so I never do that myself. Now, let me give you the real answer to this question. And partly I want to make this video because when people come up and ask me from now on, I'm just going to say, here, watch this video. Don't make me explain it again. But I think that my answer to the question has changed over time, and I've never really been very happy with the way that I answer it. So this is my current answer when someone comes up and asks, how do you know you're not counting the same birds over and over? I say, well, we're only counting the ones that are migrating. And this time of year, the birds are migrating, and in the fall, it's from north to south, or in the spring, it's south to north. And so I'll say, this time of year, the birds are migrating from north to south. And so what we're doing is we're only counting the birds that are coming from in front of us and passing by us, either overhead or off to the sides. And then if a bird comes back, we'll take it off of the count. And most of the birds that are migrating are very high, and their behavior is they're circling to gain altitude, and then they're gliding off in the right direction. So we only count birds that are doing that. If we see a bird actively hunting and diving into the trees, we won't count it at that moment. And when I explain it that way, most people say that it makes sense. But some people, they still seem a little bit skeptical about the whole thing, that we're seeing thousands and thousands of hawks. And I've even had people come up to me at the Hawkwatch, and after I explain what we're doing, they say, well, you don't really think of hawks as migrating. And I don't know what to say to that. That's like saying to an airline pilot, well, you don't really think of airplanes as flying. You know, it's like, well, I spend 8 hours a day watching hawks that are migrating. So yes, I do think of migration when I think of hawks. But for the average person who's never been to a Hawkwatch and isn't paying attention to nature, they really have no idea. They don't realize that thousands of broadwings could be migrating overhead. Just the sheer number of bald eagles or turkey vultures that migrate through different regions. But anyway, this video was just in good fun because it is a legitimate question, and it's just very difficult to answer because it's not, I can't just give a simple answer because there is a bit of a judgment call involved in the whole process. But if you watch this video and then come up to the Hawkwatch and ask me the forbidden question, I might give you a 1-week ban, so be careful. This is David Brown. Thanks for watching.